Hello and welcome to our today's webinar, What's New in Easy Project 2019. My name is Anna Ogunusi and I will be your host for the webinar. First of all, I would like to show you on our website where you can find the list of new features. So over here, as you can see, this year we actually had two main releases of some updates, one in May and one in October. Today during the webinar, I will quickly run through those features that came out in May as well, but of course we will focus mainly on those that we released in October 2019. So what exactly are we going to be covering today? I will show you the new Lite version, which is a demo version, the trial version, which makes the onboarding and starting your Easy project even easier. We will look at the new design themes. We will have a look at the model view of tasks, which is improved task management. We will look at some new features within the resource management, such as auto balancer and reservations. We will also talk about the scheduler, which is improved meeting calendar, which combines task management, meeting management, attendance, etc. Also, cost breakdown structure, business intelligence, and agile improvements, and Jenkins. So let's start. I will switch to my Easy Project free trial that I have set up. And for the purpose of this webinar, I will be working with the full demo version, but actually how to set up the Lite version is when you are signing up for Easy Project, you are offered two versions to choose from. One of them is Lite. Lite version does not have any demo data included. That's why we won't be using it for the webinar today. It has only two predefined user types, which is a project manager and a team member, and includes features of Easy Project platform. Well, full demo has all the demo data, and the reason is why is it good to have demo data in that it'll give you a good idea what Easy Project will look like once you upload your own data and start creating your new projects. It has 15 predefined user types and 4 global roles, and it actually includes the same features. I would like to also mention that if you have any questions during our webinar, please feel free to use the question and answers feature, which is in the toolbar of this webinar, and I will be answering your questions as we go through the webinar. And there will be space for the questions at the end of the webinar as well. So today we will have a look at all those new features, and at the end we will have a look at the plans and pricing as well. So let's see how much we managed to cover in the time we have for this webinar. So as I mentioned, for the purpose of this webinar, I have actually set up the full demo version. If you want to see what exactly the light demo version looks like, you can actually create another trial for yourself. You are not limited to just one trial, so you can sign up for another one to give you a good idea what Lite is about. So that was the Lite version. And I think the best way to continue on that topic would be to tell you a bit more about the new design themes. What actually are design themes? Till recently, Easy Project only offered one design theme, which is this Lite theme you can see on my dashboard. However, we have recently added two new design themes, and you can either choose a different theme when you are actually first starting your Easy Project trial. There in the first one where you are filling your personal details, in step 2 it asks you which design theme you prefer. But you can also do that later, which means right now you can go and do it as well in your profile. So when you click on your profile, which is over here by the menu more, and you click on edit, It will bring you to your profile, while now you have custom design options over here. So there's a default one, compact one, and the dark one. Compact theme, so the default one is this light colored theme. The difference with compact one is light colored as well. The difference is that with the compact one, it tries to show as much data as possible within one screen without the need of scrolling down. So that's the only difference. While the dark theme, which I will show you what it looks like, it displays dark surfaces across the majority, and which means that it helps you to improve visual ergonomics by reducing the eye strain. Because, especially if you work in places that are not well lit, or if you work in the evening or at night and it's dark everywhere, it's not very good for your eyes to be actually looking at something bright. So for that purpose, we have come up with the dark theme, which gives you, which puts less strain on your eyes. So this is what the theme looks like, but let's go back to our default theme. And let's continue with some improvements that have been done to our task management. So for the task management, I will go to a list of tasks, or let's go to Gantt. So we have recently brought up, or actually this is one of the new updates from October, which is a model view of task, which enables to see and edit all important attributes or data related to the specific task in a pop-up window, which eliminates opening of more windows or leaving the page that you are at and going to the task page. This kind of view is available in WBS, Agile, Scheduler, and Standard Task List. Actually, yeah, let's go to the task list. And you can find it when you are on a list of tasks, whether it's a task list on your homepage or anywhere where you have any task filtered. When you come to the line of the task, at the very right, it shows this scroll model, this V kind of icon over here. And when we click on it, it will bring up the pop-up window. So it's like a compact view of everything that you can usually find within the task. So it's the main attributes. So usually you have it under various columns, buttons, or tabs, and here you have it in this one pop-up window. It's fully interactive, so you can quickly edit any of the visible task attributes or update it or anything. So you can see that right here. We don't have, when you are in the normal task editing, you would usually have the pen icon here to edit these attributes, while here we just click on it and it shows us the option. We can also edit the author, start date, estimated time, project due date, status. We can either be scrolling in the pop-up window, or we can use these shortcuts. So we can add a description to the task. We can add a comment, which is a new update. We can also add an attachment. So it's basically how you're already used to working with tasks, just looks slightly different. You can log your spend time, just like the way you are used to. You can see the history over here, the spend time, if it has any parent task. So that's the model view. And just to show you what it looks like if you are not in a model view, to give you an idea, just in case you are not fully familiar with Easy Project, you are just starting working with it. So let's just open this one in Modal as well. So this is the pop-up window. And as you can see, it's really easy because then you can just simply just close it and you are back to where you were without having to do like a step back or without having to open and close another window. And this is what it regularly looks like. So you can see the view is very similar. Just that here you just click in, while here you use the pen icon. While talking about task management, in our release in May, we also introduced something called diagrams. To use the diagram feature, we would click on Update. And over here in the Update window, we have an options for diagrams. When creating a new diagram, we have to give it a name. And it's also important to actually mention what diagrams are about or how to use them. So diagrams give you an opportunity to, like, directly in Easy Project, create, for instance, like a graphic showing some kind of a process. So it's really helpful if you do some business analytics or if you work in production and you need to be showing how the production process is. And as you can see, once you want to use a diagram, so once we name it, then then a new window will show. And in this window, we can choose what kind of aspects we want to add to our diagram. There's quite a variety to choose from. We can also add some relations between these. So this is really good for showing the processes. You can also add some text. You have some options to choose from variety of shapes, as well as some arrows, some basic shapes, some advanced shapes. So there's quite a big gallery of that. Flowcharts, and we also have some clip arts available. So once you are done with your diagram, you simply save it, and it'll be added to the update of the task. You can also add any other comment on the task and save it. The diagram will be also saved in a form of, it's over here in the picture, in the comment, so you can see it visually directly. If at any point you want to, first of all, you can also choose from variety of versions. So if you have been changing the diagram, making some updates, you can actually see the previous versions as well. And you can always easily edit the diagram as well. So staying on the topic of task management, we had a question if the model view can be set as a default view. So when you click on a task, it opens up as the model view. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that at the moment. You have to be using the model view button. But thank you for your feedback. I will pass it on to our development team for future development. So that would be so much for the task management. And actually, what's connected with task management with this topic is also scheduler. Scheduler is something that you will find on mainly on your home pages, on your dashboards. Scheduler is basically a calendar where you can manage not only your meetings, so compared to the meeting calendar that you might have been using in Easy Project in past, over here it combines management of meetings, tasks, attendance. You can see all your sales activities, holidays, external events as well. And all of that, what's the advantage of scheduler is that you can basically run and manage all your work within Easy Project within this one module, so within your homepage. So it makes your daily work much easier, especially if you are a manager and not only you manage your own time and your tasks, but also the ones of your team. So you can, if you are a manager, you can use this module for task allocation to your team. And if you are not a manager, you can just use it to manage your daily your daily tasks. So how does that work? Well, each entity that you have within Easy Scheduler has a color, so you can easily differentiate what's a meeting, what's a task, what's a logged attendance, whether there is some holiday or sales activities. So if you, for instance, had some sales activities planned, you work with CRM, you want to send an email, send a phone call, you will see all of that here. And you can easily also plan your tasks just by drag and drop. The important thing that when working with scheduler and task, every task has to have some estimated time remaining in order for it to be planned within the day. The biggest advantage of this in regards to the task management is that you can actually plan a task for a particular time of the day. That's something that we were often asked about when people work with Easy Gantt, because you know that in Easy Gantt you can set the start date and the due date for your workers. But for instance, if you have a task that only takes half of the day and you would really need to let them know that they should work on that in the morning rather than the afternoon, there was no way to do it. Well, you could have written it in a comment or just tell them. But this way you can plan it for your worker for a particular time of the day, or you can plan it out that it's a task that will take 5 hours and they need to work on it every day, 1 hour a day, or the same for yourself. Like it's something that you need to get done every day in the morning. So you would allocate 1 hour a day in your calendar for that. And because we talking about Easy Scheduler, we nicely moved into like resource management, which is connected to task allocation. So I would like to move on to resource management because there are two new features or improvements. So let's go to our resource management, the global one. But of course, it works very similarly both on your the global one and the project level as well. So as I said, in resource management this year, we made two improvements. One of them is reservations, which is the one which was released in May, and the newest one is balancer. We have another question, I believe that's related to the scheduler. And the question was, is this feature connected, integrated with Outlook? Yes, it is. So actually, that's a really good question. Let me just quickly go back. By the way, if you are more interested in Easy Scheduler, we recently had a webinar about it. It was like about half an hour, 45-minute webinar, where I went through every detail of Easy Scheduler. So yes, it can be integrated and also it can be exported. So the exports can be done through here, and you can also choose what you want to export or integrate as well. And speaking about the previous webinar, when you go to our website, so if we go to our homepage, because Easy Schedule is a really really good feature, as I mentioned. So the webinar is definitely worth watching. If you go under Services and Training Center, and in the right menu, click on Webinars, you will see here the upcoming webinars that you can register for. And then you can also see past webinars. And if we scroll a little bit down over here in August, we had a webinar on is this project schedule specifically. So I definitely suggest you have a look at the recording of the webinar because it'll give you a better idea. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go into detail of every single feature today, so I would definitely refer you to the recording of the webinar. So where were we? Resource management. So first, let's talk about the resource management reservations. What's the purpose of a resource management reservations? This feature was released based on the feedback that we are getting from our clients, which was that they would like to book out their team members without the need of putting a task in that time or putting a meeting is the reservation, but like they would like to, even like for instance, if they know that in the future there will be a project or there will be some tasks that they will be needed for, but it's not quite set up yet, or that there will be a meeting for a full day or half day, they have to go abroad, you know, they have to travel. They would like that to show in the resource management so people cannot assign another task to them on that particular day or days because they will be busy with something else. So based on this feedback from our clients, we came up with the with this feature. So custom reservations simply means that you don't have to, you can book out the person, do a reservation without assigning it to a specific task or project. So we can plan a reservation just by using drag and drop, and it's as easy as following. So wherever you have like a little bit of free space, you just drag and drop, and you see the orange that's showing that it's a reservation. You can name the reservation. Let's say business trip. You can choose a start date or due date. It'll be automatically pre-filled based on how you dragged it within the resource management. You can always adjust it here. You choose the assignee, or actually the assignee is the person under which you have created the reservation. So you just make sure that you always create the reservation under the right person. You can choose whether it's under a specific project or not. Because if it's a business trip, it does not necessarily have to be, but if you know that it's connected to a project, but not to a task, you can put it here. You can put the estimated time, whether you want to put it in hours or in percentage, and you choose the resource allocator. Then you put some description as in what it is about, but you don't really have to. So by the stuff that you have to fill in is the name, start date, due date, and estimated time. And when you save it, it'll be now showing over here. So you can see reservations always show in orange, which you will also find at in the legend at the bottom of your resource management, that orange is for reservations. This way, you can see that it's already counting the 5 hours from the reservation into the total for the person in this particular week. So this prevents the person from being overloaded by being given tasks, and on top of that, having to go on a business trip or having to attend a meeting and not being able really to fulfill the other duties that the person was given, such as some tasks. So that would be resource management, the reservations. And the second one, which is the newer feature, is called auto balancer. So auto balancer is a feature of resource management that redistributes allocated hours of all visible user assigned tasks throughout the entire task duration from the start date to the due date based on the user's free capacity. And at the same time, it takes into account that their daily work, vacation, as well as other allocations. So how to use the tool? We would access it through Tools and Balance. It will only apply to the user whose tasks are, or to the tasks that are assigned to a user and they are visible. So they have to be like this. So right now, if we only have these tasks visible, it will work only for these. If we wanted to, we can do it for multiple users and their tasks at the same time, but we have to open it this way. It works both on the project level and the global level, but there is a slight difference when you are using it. Because if you are using it on the project level, it only works with the tasks belonging to the particular project. So it won't take into account any tasks from any other project, which may not then work really in the global level if the person is working on several projects at the same time. So I strongly suggest that you use this one only on the global level. So the balancing process is based on the allocator type called evenly slow. So hours are allocated evenly throughout duration of the task, starting from today onwards. So it won't take or affect the previous days. It will like reallocate the hours from today onwards. And only the last day of the task duration is never automatically balanced, because any remaining hours that are on the task, they have to be accumulated to the last day. So once the balancing is finished, as I said before, the balancing takes into account any vacations. But once you use the balancing feature and you would create a vacation afterwards, you have to use the balance feature again. And it's literally as simple as just clicking on it here, and you can see it has moved around. So we can also try for another person. She has less tasks, so you can see what the tasks look like now. Then we go to balance, and you can see how it happened. Let's go back. Yeah, it gives you a good idea. Also, the balancing process, which is important to mention, is always executed in order of task priorities. So it takes into notice this column of the priority, and it'll always start with the urgent, then high, and then to normal. And for the balance feature to actually take the priority into notice, the column must be visible here. If the priority column is not visible here, it will start doing it based on the order that we have in the subject. So again, it's really good to have the column visible over here. And if you don't have it, you can do it under options and put the column priority there. So that would be about resource management. And so from resource management, we are left with few more things, which is Jenkins, cost breakdown structure, business intelligence, and agile improvements. So let's move on to cost breakdown structure. Cost breakdown structure is a feature that can be found. It's like an improvement to work breakdown structure. So it can be found, it's like an edit tool to work breakdown structure, which Sorry, I was just shocked. Where did I end up? Let's choose, let's go to projects. And let's use this one. And so under work breakdown structure, which is WBS, we now newly from May, we have this thing called budget. So it's making the cost breakdown structure, which is improvement on work breakdown structure. It's making your management of your finances visible. So you can see and manage projects and task finances right in the work breakdown structure. You can see the cost, revenues, and profit. So when you access your work breakdown structure, by default, it's the cost breakdown structure is not on. You have to click on budget, and you can see that now these amounts appear over here. You can see the legend for them on the left. You can also be choosing what exactly you want to actually see in your cost breakdown structure. So it can either show real profit, planned profit, total cost, total planned cost, real income, or planned income. So let's see what it'll look like if we switch from real profit to total cost. You can see here we are in minus. You can also switch between currencies. In the trial, we have US and dollar, but this pretty much depends on the settings of your budget, of your finance management. So if you have any other currencies available within your Easy project, then you will be able to switch between the currencies here as well. You can also be updating these. So if you double click on it, it'll give you a budget overview. So just to give you an idea, where did that number come from? You can also add a new income or a new expense directly in your work breakdown structure. So this is very useful for people who work mainly with the work breakdown structure. So then you don't have to, for your budgeting, for your finances, you don't have to switch to another window. You can just stay in your work breakdown structure and manage your finances here as well. So that would be so much about the cost breakdown structure, and cost breakdown structure is part of finance management. So you must have the finance management available in your Easy project, which is part of the higher plans, and I will talk about the plans in a bit. There are some agile improvements as well. I don't think that that's something we have to dive into, but just to mention, agile, those are agile boards, so that's Scrum and Kanban. So there, newly you can create new tasks simply from the backlog. You can use a search function. There's a smart sprint control, which automatically compares planned time versus resource capacity, and then also drag and drop. But let's move on to something a bit more interesting, which is our business intelligence. Business intelligence, you can access it through the menu more over here, and at the very bottom under solutions, there's business intelligence. So business intelligence brings you important insights into your business. So insights and overviews of your projects and the company performance on one single screen. So this is very good, especially for managers or CEOs or finance directors, people who need to analyze the data that you have. The advantage is that in past, before business intelligence was released, you really could not analyze the data within Easy Project. So you had like inputs from variety, like input from budget, input from sales, but to really create analysis like return on investment and stuff, you would have to do it somewhere else. So over here now in business intelligence, it really gives you a good idea about the return of on investment of your company, of your business. Of course, it means this can only work if you have, because it works a lot with finances. So only if you have the finances available and on within your easy project. And because we know that the most important number that you have within your business is the return on investment, really how much you are making, how much was the profit of the company. And this number is in the business intelligence is based on the incomes and revenues, which comes from your invoicing in your finance management, then project earnings and project cost, personal cost, which is personal cost in based on the spend time and hourly rates. So people have to be logging actually their time. Other costs that you can input, CRM data such as sales and campaign costs, because easy business intelligence can be integrated with your Google AdWords. So business intelligence consists of several tabs, dashboards, on different levels such as company, countries, products, users, projects, CRM. Company is like the top one. Countries, if you operate in different markets, you will see which country is the most profitable, which gives you, for instance, a good idea on where to spend and invest more money in marketing, right? Which country in particular has the biggest return on investment on your marketing cost. Then products, which product is the most profitable? So which product development, if you have several products, such as we do, which product development should you really invest to, because there will be a higher return on investment there. Then users, you can see some personal costs there. You can see if they're really making money for your company. So this is really good for resource management for to decide whether you need to hire more people because your people are overloaded. If you have, or whether you need to sack someone. That's that's another thing. And each of these tabs has this what we call trends. The trends are comparing current period, and you choose the period here, to the same previous period. So you will also always see whether it has increased or decreased, what's your current state. It also tells you what actually is it counted based on. And then you also get some graphs and charts here as well. Of course, this is something that is what we are viewing. This is like set up by default. But the business intelligence can be tailor-made to you. So you can, it really depends on your needs. So once you purchase the business intelligence solution, you can get our implementation services with it, and we will just tailor it based to your needs, because we understand that every company can be slightly different. You have slightly different needs. You work with, some data are more important for you than others. And what's also lovely is these pop-up windows. So from for every graph, you can actually click on it. So it's quite interactive. So you can see that here we have return on investment for US is 1.69. Okay, that's nice. But how did we come up to that number? So when you click on it, it'll open a pop-up window with details just for the US market. And it gives you a bit more details in the trends as well as other graphs as well. So that's business intelligence, and I believe that all we are left with is the Jenkins. I left it for the end because there's something a bit more technical, and I don't know how many people really are working with this or would be interested in this. But what is Jenkins? So Jenkins is like a tool that allows you to create a continuous integration that would boost your DevOps. Jenkins is a leading open source automation server that supports building, deploying, and automating projects. This is very useful, especially for people who work, for instance, on website development. They work with GitLab and they need to have some automated tasks, as in when task is when status of a task would be changed from creating text for the website or for a certain page on the website into, and then you create it, change the status to check, then some process would be automatically run without you having to go and run the process in GitLab. Just based on the status change, it would start. So the Jenkins would be automatically started with the task updates based on custom defined conditions. And then these results are automatically registered into a task journal. And so when you are using Jenkins, let's show you in a project. Let's just choose any project. The best would be, as I said, this is really good, especially for website development, but it really doesn't matter where we show it, I guess. So in order for you to use Jenkins, you have to first go into the modules on your project, and you have to switch on this continuous integration, which is Jenkins. And then once you switched it on, you would go back into settings and you will click on to continuous integration. And this is where you do the settings. So you fill in the connection, the host, the username, the API token, you test the connection. So as I said, this feature allows you to start Jenkins automatically with task update based on some custom field conditions. So you also have to set the conditions, but I don't want to go much into details. And then the results are automatically registered into the task journal. The job journals are linked directly to Jenkins, and you can also actually run the Jenkins not only automatically, but also you can actually run it manually from the task detail as well. As I said, I don't want to dive into much details, especially on the Jenkins, because it's something very technical and not many users might be using it. However, everything that we went through today, all the updates, you can find a bit more information on this page where you actually access through here on our homepage. And each one has a related feature article. So everything we covered today, you can get back to it and read a bit more about it. You can also find out more technical things in our documentation, which you will find under Services and Training Center and Documentation. So you can find all the information here as well. And also if you need some help with the settings, you can always get in touch with our support team through the chat window, send us an email, give us a ring. Or we also offer implementation services, which are very useful, especially for the business intelligence, where our consulting team can help you to get your easy project tailor-made to your needs, to get it up and running for you and your company with no time. And to finish off our webinar, I promised that we would actually have a look at the pricing page. Oh, here it is. Because Easy Project currently offers 3 plans that you can choose from, which is Essentials, Business, and Platform. The difference between them is the features that it offers. So Essentials offers the essentials of project management, such as work and agile management. So you will find the Scrum, Kanban, Gantt, WBS, Portfolio Gantt, and reporting. While in business, on top of all that, you also have the resource management, the scheduler that we spoke about today, uh, Outlook and calendars integration, as well as finance, which includes also cost breakdown structure. So Essentials does not have cost breakdown structure. It is in finance, financial statements and cash flow, and platform, which is the highest plan, also includes CRM, help desk, knowledge base, and DMS. So once you choose your plan, when you're on our pricing page, then you continue, and here it's very interactive. Now, because you can choose exactly how many users do you want, so you can choose any number. You can choose the subscription period. The longer the subscription period, the lower the price per user. And as you can see, I have actually included here a discount coupon code. This is a coupon code that you can actually use. It'll be valid, it's a 15% discount code, and it'll be valid for the next 7 days. So you can use it on the pricing page. So if you are now considering buying Easy Project, or you are ready to go from a trial version to an actual paid plan, then please feel free to use this discount code. The discount code is right here and is N0151GNN. So make sure you take a note of this. And as I said, the longer the subscription period, the bigger the discount as well. So the lower the price per user, and on top of that, from the total price, with this discount code, you would be getting a 15% discount. And then all is left is just to fill in your billing details. So just to sum up, we have covered quite a lot today. So we covered the updates that we had, the new features that were released in May, such as new Lite version, scheduler, cost breakdown structure, resource management reservation, business intelligence, agile improvements and diagram, as well as the new features that were released recently on October, which are the new design themes, modular view of task, resource auto balancer, and Jenkins. If you have any questions now, please feel free to type it in the questions and answers. Should you have any questions later, get in touch with our support team, or send us an email, chat, or give us a ring. And also join us for our upcoming webinars, which you will find under Services, Training Center, and Webinars. We are still planning a webinar for help desk and diagrams in November. Or join us for our onboarding sessions, which are sessions for people who are new into Easy Project and they want to find out how to work with Easy Project easily, effortlessly, in no time. And meanwhile, thank you so much for your attention. I hope you enjoyed today's webinar. Please make a note of the discount coupon code so you can apply it within the next 7 days. And I look forward to seeing you at our future webinars, and I wish you good luck with your projects.